everyone, and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Pearse McLaughlin. Hello, Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. On today's podcast, we'll be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League and Scottish Premier League results, giving a quick preview of the opening week of the Champions League, and at the end of the podcast, Pearse will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So we'll start off, as always, with the English Premier League. So the results were on Saturday the 13th of September, Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth 2, Brighton 1, Newcastle 1, Wolves 0, Fulham 1, Leeds 0, Everton 0, Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 0, Sunderland 0, West Ham 0, Tottenham 3, Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. And then on Sunday, the 14th of September, there was two matches which finished Burnley 0, Liverpool 1, and Man City 3, Man United 0. So just before we talk about the results, Pearse, I just want to ask you about Nottingham Forest. So during the international break, it was announced that Nuno Espirito Santo had been, and Nottingham Forest had parted company. So basically Nottingham Forest had sacked Nuno. And so they sacked him, and then the next day, Nottingham Forest appointed Ange Postecoglou as their new manager. So, Pearse, I just wanted your quick thoughts on Nuno being sacked and Ange being appointed.
I think the Nuno writing was on the wall the back end of last season, because remember when Nottingham Forest in the top four and they eventually missed out in the Champions League and they got, and obviously, but they still got European football, which is a massive accomplishment considering he saved them from relegation the previous season, and then to get in Europe the next season was remarkable. But the fact is, you've seen the way that he kind of was, the owner was on the pitch shouting, swearing, grabbing him, and I think from then the relationship was never really the same. Although I still think Nuno has done a terrific job at Nottingham Forest. He did a good job at Wolves before previously, and then he got his job at Tottenham as well, which he did all right to begin with. But I don't think Nuno will have any qualms in terms of parting company with Nottingham Forest. I think he'll obviously get another job soon enough. He's a good manager, and what he done with Nottingham Forest was nothing short of sensational. And I think obviously Ange back in the Premier League so soon after Tottenham is exciting, because obviously he's a manager that we know very well from Scotland, and obviously he delivered a European trophy last season for Tottenham. So, and I think that's the goal of this owner, the Greek owner, and obviously Ange Postecoglou is obviously part Greek, part Australian, so maybe that comes into the thinking. And obviously likes the way he plays football, and the fact that he's a winning manager in terms of everywhere he's went, he's delivered a trophy. So it remains to be seen, but I think it's good to see Ange Postecoglou back in the Premier League. But obviously he'll have to do a lot better than what he did last season in terms of Tottenham, because the league form wasn't great, although he did win a European trophy.
Yeah, so I basically agree with everything you just said there. Obviously, with Nuno, it was basically a matter of when, not if. Obviously, it was widely reported that he'd fell out with the owner. I think that was very true. Obviously, I think a lot of it was to do with the transfer window, and also I think a lot of it was to do with the appointment of Edu as the new director of football. So stuff like that, I think, resulted in the falling out between the owner and Nuno. But so it was, I didn't think it was going to happen. And what a job he did at Nottingham Forest. I mean, he took over when they were basically battling relegation, managed to get them out of that, and had an absolute brilliant season last season, qualified for European football, which was fantastic. So I think the Nottingham Forest fans will be disappointed that they've lost Nuno, because even this season, I mean, they've not started too badly. So yeah, I think they'll be disappointed with the fact Nuno has left. And with Postecoglou coming in, obviously there's a relationship there between Ange Postecoglou and the owner, Marinakis, I think his name is. who is Greek, and Postecoglou has got Greek ties. Obviously, he is named Greek, and his family's from Greece, so there's a bit of a connection there. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how Postecoglou does it on the Forest, because his style of football compared to Nuno's is polar opposite. So obviously, with no Ange likes to press really high up the park and really pressing, trying to go forward as quickly as we can. Whereas Nottingham Forest under Nuno were very much, they sat back in a low block and played counter attacking football. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nottingham Forest players adapt to that. But yeah, I think Ange will be desperate to do well, because obviously last season at Tottenham it didn't go well. So I'm sure he'll have a little bit of a point to prove that he can still do well in the Premier League. So yeah, so just wanted to update everyone on that news. So Pearse, the weekly question: which match stood out to you last week?
Probably not the stand-up match for everyone, but it was a stand-up match for me. It was the Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Just because we've got we've got a thing in Korea with a few of my friends. It's called Last Man Standing, so you have to pick a result every week, and that was the game I chose. And the fact is, they won it in the most dramatic of circumstances, 95th minute Salah penalty, and that's Liverpool's third late one on a row. It maintains 100% record in the league so far. They may not be playing the best football at the moment, but they find a way, and that's just the mark of champions. If you're winning games late in the game consistently while not playing well, just imagine what's going to happen when you start playing well. And also they've got a depth of talent in the squad, and yeah, obviously Burnley newly promoted side, and obviously probably thought they deserved a point in the game, but football's cruel at times, and obviously Liverpool getting a winner late on. But for me personally, it's a nice wee winner.
Aye, my standout match is probably the most obvious one, which was the Manchester derby, which finished Man City 3, Man United 0. Haaland hat-trick on the day. He was absolutely fantastic. No, actually, it wasn't a hat-trick, sorry. It was, they got two. It was Foden to get the first goal. I don't know where I've got the hat-trick from. He should have scored a hat-trick, but I didn't. But yeah, Haaland was brilliant on the day, scored two really good goals. Man City, they played well. They're missing quite a few players, actually. They were missing the likes of Marmoush and Sheki. John Stones was out as well, so they were missing quite a few key players. Donnarumma made his debut, was fantastic. Made an absolute brilliant save from Mbeumo. It was Mbeumo, I think it was like a half volley from just outside the box, and Donnarumma saved it really well. So he's going to be good. We've already discussed Donnarumma, and he's already proved in the first game that he's going to be able to prove that he can play well in the Premier League. So yeah, Man City were really good on the day. Thoroughly deserved the 3 points. Phil Foden as well was back to his best as well. Scored a really good goal. So yeah, and whereas Man United once again didn't really do much, didn't really do anything. Really, I can't really remember anything that they did. They started the game okay, but after Man City got the first goal, I think they just sort of crumbled a little bit, and it could have actually been more than 3-0 in the end. And once again, we're talking about Man United, and once again, there's a lot of talk about the manager, Ruben Amorim, and it's just not going well for him. 31 Premier League matches he's had since he's joined, and he's only won 8 of them. I mean, for Man United, that's just really shocking, really. I mean, that should be nowhere near. They should be nowhere near that kind of stat.
Well, Tom, can I give you a stat?
Yeah.
That Ruben Amorim's got the worst win percentage of any permanent Man United manager since World War II.
Well, there we go as well. Just the
Yeah,
bad stats keep coming out.
36% win ratio.
Yeah.
No,
but I mean,
I don't know how he's surviving.
yeah, I mean that. I think a lot of people are questioning that now as well. I mean, for me, I'm not a Man United fan, but if I was Man United, I sort of understood why they gave him this summer, because obviously he came in during last season, You know, it didn't. I mean, he came in. It was a disaster last season. They lost the Europa League final. So maybe they thought, right, we'll give him this summer to get his own players, and let's see how we do. But start the season, it's once again, it's not. I'm not seeing anything different, and I think it's simple. I just don't think the formation works. I mean, he's really want to play this sort of 3-4-3 formation, or 5-3-2, whatever it is, and I just don't think it works for Man United playing three at the back. I just think um, they're too rigid and too static, and there's not enough attacking play.
I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. It may work in Portugal, but doesn't work in the Premier League.
That's what I think as well.
Especially for Manchester United. Manchester United have got there's a pressure on them, and like Manchester United got history of always playing 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, attacking football.
Yeah.
And the fact is, he's turned Man United into a really defensive team with players that can't defend, and the lack of goals they're scoring is frightening for us, because the fact is they bought a lot of attacking talent this summer. Emblemo, Shesko, Cunha. I mean, so they've got the players there. It's just obviously not clicking, and I think the problem is the manager and the way he's playing.
I totally agree. I do really think it is the formation. I just don't think it works. And he's been asked about it, and he's adamant that he's not going to change it. He's like, no, the only way this formation will stop is if the club get rid of me. And the way it's going right now, I think that's what's going to be the outcome, because I'm just not seeing anything that shows to me that formation is working for Man United. I just don't think it is. And I actually think Ruben Amorim is a good manager, and I think he comes across well. I quite like him when he talks and stuff. He's quite honest and stuff, but I just think he's going about it the wrong way. I think he's going to have to be a much more adaptable, because Man United are just, I think they're just going, they're just sleepwalking into another season like last season again. So,
Tom, can I suggest something for you? I think they need to sack Amorim and bring back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Well, we've got, to be fair, I remember when Solskjaer during the COVID season, they finished second. So they didn't actually, I mean, he didn't do as bad a job as people think. I think he got unfairly treated.
I remember he got unfairly treated because, like you say, he came second, got to Europa League final, lost Europa League final in penalties. And the football they're playing at times is actually quite nice. And then he gets his big summer window. He gets Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo.
I think that's what ruined it a little bit.
That's what ruined it. But if you look at Ten Hag, he got Ante and all these big players as well. The big money, like Casemiro, not blah blah. Right, Amorim's done the same. He's getting big players, right? But Solskjaer was let go after a few months.
Yeah.
But Amorim's had like a season and a bit, and he's not really no. Let's be honest, Man United have played woeful for a long time. Under Amorim, they've not played nice football at all. And if they relegated teams last season weren't so bad, Man United would have been relegated, and same with Tottenham.
Yep, I totally agree. Absolutely. They were quite lucky with this sort of teams that get relegated last season, because they would have been in a relegation battle, which is quite mad to even think about. But yeah, just once again, Ruben, it's just the same problems with Man United, and I don't really know how he's going to go for Ruben Amorim, but he's going to have to start winning, and winning quickly, because it's going the way it's going, it's not looking good for him. So, so that's in the Premier League prediction. Premier League talked about. So we'll move on to the Scottish Premier League. So I'll just quickly go through the results. So on Saturday, the 13th September, the results finished: Rangers 0, Hearts 2, Falkirk 1, St Mirren 2, Dundee 1, Motherwell 1, Aberdeen 0, Livingston 0, Hibs 3, Dundee United 3. And then on Sunday, the 14th of September, there was one match which finished Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 2. So, Pearse, I might have an idea of which match I think stands out to you the most, but I might be surprised. Actually, there's two for me, but what one's for you?
Aberdeen 0, Livingston 0.
Aye, that's the one I was going to say.
No. It's obviously the standard result is obviously Rangers 0, Hearts 2.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. The fact is that Rangers have still not got a win this season, and Hearts have continued their good form at the start of the season. Unbeaten, and they've went to Ibrox won for the first time since 2012 at Ibrox, which is the stats are just staggering this season. Russell Martin's breaking all the wrong records. I thought Hearts deserved a win. I thought they
Could have won more 2-0.
they could have won more than 2-0. Yeah, hit the post a couple of times, and the keeper made a good save, but on that. But obviously Shankland got a double. I think the penalty for me was a penalty. In second half, but I think if I'm being as a football fan unbiased, in terms of it's a good finish for first goal Shankland, but in the build up he does, I think it clearly hits his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think obviously I went to VAR. I think it's a weekend that Scottish officials probably are
Yeah.
a bit ashamed of, because I think a couple of decisions in a lot of the games were questionable at times. It just shows you, even with VAR, Scotland could somehow find a way to mess up decisions. But I think that's got to stand result because of where Rangers are in the table. It's just mad that Hearts are up the top half of the table and Rangers are where they are in the league in terms of 10th. 5 games, 4 draws and 1 defeat, -2 goals with 4 points.
Yeah, it's mental. Yeah, it is.
And apparently there's a stat where if depends on if Dundee and Aberdeen win their games, Rangers could be in like a relegation battle in terms of like staying in the league, which I think is mad. Like
Yeah.
the amount of money Rangers spent this summer. But like you say, similar to Ruben Amorim, I think Russell Martin just hasn't got the correct formula. I think for me, it's far too passive, it's far too slow side to side, and then the defence is so wide open. Like the fullbacks just bomb forward and just leave the 2 centre backs exposed,
Yeah.
and they don't really cross the ball a lot. They don't get a lot of numbers inside the box. So it's like kind of in terms of like Scottish teams
It's
that
just,
step back, it's just easy to defend against.
yeah, it's very easy. Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
I agree. Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, everything there he said is agree. And let's just be honest, Russell Martin, he's under a absolute humongous amount of pressure because Rangers should not be in this position. I mean, it's 4 points in the first what 6 games, 5 6 games is it's really bad. As you said, the football that the Rangers fans are getting shown is you know not what they want. They're not really creating anything as well. Like they've got a lot of good. I mean, they spent what 20 million, 25 million this summer on a few attacking players as well. The likes of Chermiti, Asgard, Gassama, and I'm not really seeing much. I mean, they're not really creating anything. They can't score. Like they're not creating any chances. So that's a big worry as well. And when you see the 2 teams, Rangers and Hearts just look 100 times better. They really do. They look well more organised. They look like they've got much more of a threat going forward with the likes of Shankland. I think Lawrence Shankland, I'll be honest with you, see on Saturday, I think Lawrence Shankland should have been in the Rangers shirt rather than a Hearts shirt. I can't believe Rangers missed out on Lawrence Shankland. I think he'd have been perfect for Rangers.
it was available on a free as well, Tom.
Yeah, they could have got him in a free transfer. They've signed Chermiti for 8-9 million. And listen, I can't judge someone after the first game, but previous his time at Everton didn't go well at all. He's still very young, and I mean that it's a big gamble that they've taken on Chermiti, and they're gonna have to pray that that's going to come off because that's a lot of money they spent on him. Whereas you've got Lawrence Shankland, who has just scored 2 against you to win his team the match. So I thought that was amazing that Lawrence Shankland didn't sing for Rangers. But anyway, that's a totally different story. The point is, Rangers again, not scoring, their first defeat of the season, they're 10th in the league. And I will be honest with you, Rangers play Hibs at Ibrox on Saturday. And I think if Hibs win that and knock Rangers out the cup, I really do struggle to see how Russell Martin will survive. And listen, I don't think it's nice to see managers losing their jobs and stuff. But you know, I just think with the atmosphere around the club at the moment as well, I just think it'd be very hard to carry on. So, very interesting times at Rangers. And obviously we'll see what happens, and we'll talk about it more in the weeks to come. But yeah, that was a standout match for both of us. It's worth mentioning the Hibs 3 Dundee United 3 match. I watched that match a little bit. That was a really good match, a 6-goal thriller. I don't know if you saw the Hibs top that they wore for their anniversary. I think it was 125th anniversary, something like that. It was really nice.
It was
It
nice.
was like a white and black stripe, white and green stripes. It was really nice. So yeah, and the Easter Road got a thriller to witness as well. Really good match there. So
Quickly touch on
yeah,
that match. I thought Dun United were the better side. I thought Hibs were lucky to
yeah,
get a point.
yeah. I mean, a couple of Hibs goals were a bit controversial. I thought the second and third goal. I mean, the
Aye,
third goal that Hibs got a penalty, and I wasn't sure if it was a penalty. I'm still not sure.
and a
Um,
straight red card as well, which I thought was a bit baffling.
yeah, I thought that didn't. I don't think that was a red card either. So yeah, Dundee United might feel a little bit hard done to, but um,
But they could,
yeah,
they for me continue to impress Dun United. I think they've slowly
yeah,
but
yeah.
surely
I
this
agree
season.
as well.
And the boy Stevenson get two brilliant
Yeah,
goals at the back post
yeah,
twice. And then the boy
yeah.
Sarsfield, who signed from Australia, has been buying the goals in Europe and in domestically. So I think they're quite an exciting side under Jim Goodwin this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could be right up there this season. Definitely top 6 material, and I think Hibs as well. I've got good. I mean, Hibs given no European football now, but they're going well. Hibs still I think they're still undefeated in the league. So
Oh yeah, they are. They've only got
yeah,
one
they
win,
are. So
three draws.
so they're quite solid. Um, and they're just hoping they can turn them draws into a win. But yeah, that was definitely a standout match as well. And yeah, that's the Scottish Premier League covered. So we've got the Champions League starting this week. So we've got the Champions League on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we've got 3 days worth of Champions League football this week. Lots of matches to get through. I'm not going to name all of them because there's quite a lot of them. But Pearse, are you looking forward to it? And if you know, is there a match that's in your head that you're looking forward to seeing this week?
I'm just having a look for the fixtures just
I
now. I
mean,
think
I'll start off with me. So
you know.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's always great to see the Champions League come back. That's always feel like when the Champions League starts. That's when I feel like that the season's officially started. A wee bit. Just love seeing the Champions League tune, hearing it, and I love just watching the Champions League football. My standout match from the one I'm looking forward to the most is on Thursday. That's Newcastle Barcelona. So Barcelona will be going to St James's Park against Newcastle. I think that's going to be a cracker because obviously Barcelona, having to go into a real tough place in Newcastle. Newcastle fans will be right up for that match. Obviously they return to the Champions League. St James's Park, I just know will be bouncing. They create a really good atmosphere down there. And yeah, I mean, if Newcastle can perform, I mean, I think it was a couple of years ago they played PSG at St James's Park and they won. Was it 4-0, 4-1? They absolutely battered PSG that day, and then I think they're capable of doing that at Barcelona as well. But Barcelona they're going along well. But Lamine Yamal for Barcelona, their star player, he didn't play at the weekend. I don't know if he's going to make it for Newcastle, and I think that'll be a blow if he doesn't for Barcelona.
I don't know if you've heard about the injury he's got.
I think it's quite a bad injury, isn't it?
Oh, honestly, I couldn't
Oh
believe
yeah, I know what it is. I know what it
I
is.
couldn't believe it
Yeah,
when I seen it. It was official Barcelona Twitter page, right? Posted
yeah,
verified that he has an infection in his private areas.
yeah. I saw that. Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like,
I haven't seen I haven't seen like, but I know
I
I
can
did read
understand.
it.
I can
Yeah,
understand because this summer, before pre-season started, he was singing around with Neymar, so I can assume that's probably the reason.
yeah. Aye. Quite a
But
weird one.
I'm going to say though, I think he's a talented footballer, but I think he's a wanker. In terms of his attitude looks as if he's that type of
Aye,
name.
there has been a little. There's been a few. There's been a few
Because when
situations that.
I compare him to the boy Pau Kubasi, same age,
Yeah,
totally different personalities. It's like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like you don't really hear much from Kubasi, he just keeps himself grounded, whereas Lamal thinks he's like this 10-time Ballon d'Or winner. He's only 18, 19 years old.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
thinks better than Messi and Ronaldo. I'm like, mate, you need a long way to go. Just keep going the way you're going,
yeah,
you'll be fine. But you
yeah,
don't get too ahead of yourself. And I think, like you say, one injury could ruin his career. Because there was a big hype around Ange Postecoglou a few years ago. He fell off a cliff.
yeah, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think in terms of that, actually, I think he needs to calm down a bit.
Yeah, that's a totally different topic, but we could go on about that. But I know what you mean. I mean, there has been a few situations with like his parties and stuff that, maybe the sort of headlines and the sort of stardom's getting to him a little bit, and he's kind of taking it as too much to his advantage. But um, I hope he plays well on Thursday because it'd be good to see in Newcastle. So yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. You thought about one, Pearse?
Yeah, so I'm going to just go with the team I'm wearing just now. So I got a new top today for
Dominic.
my birthday, which was last week, but just came from my wee brother. I'm going to go for Bayern Munich Chelsea, and obviously both teams have been going pretty solidly. I think Bayern Munich have been blitzing teams in the Bundesliga. My man Harry Kane's been scoring goals left, right, and centre, so I'm looking forward to a Chelsea pumping. I think Bayern will absolutely do them, and I think just
Big talk.
big talk for a big man. That means so. I just think the front four of Bayern Munich is just is really scary in terms of Kane, Gnabry, Michael Olise, and the new boy Luis Diaz. I think they're really good. I think they're really frightening. They all can interchange positions. They're all scoring goals. All can get assists. And I think Chelsea defensively, they've had a few injuries recently, and I just don't think they're strong. I think obviously good forward. Chelsea are very good as well in terms of Joe Pedro started the season well. Cole Palmer's kind of slowly but surely getting there. But I think Bayern Munich, the way they've started the season, Allianz Arena, and I think Bayern will want to make a statement early on in the Champions League, and I think it will be. I say pumping, but I think it'll probably be like 3-4-0. Bayern Munich. I think if they get an early goal, the crowd gets going. You never know. I think Harry Kane, Elise, Diaz, and Gnabry are a very frightening front four.
Yep. That's a good one to look forward to as well. And obviously you're confident in a Bayern Munich win. That'll be an interesting game. I'll see how Chelsea return to the Champions League. They've got a young squad as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they cope with the Allianz Arena and up against these top players, especially going forward. And I don't really know if Chelsea's defence is strong enough to cope with them, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, that's definitely a standout match to look forward to as well. So, for the final part of the show, Pearce will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yeah, so we had K-League 1 action on Saturday, 13th of September, and that was Gangland FC 3, FC Seoul 2, John McHugh Motors 1, Daejeon Hana Citizen 0, Potong Steelers 1, FC 1. And then Sunday, the 14th of September, we had FC Anyang 2, JGSK 1, Gimchuk Sangwoo 1, Daegu FC 2, Suwon FC 2, Gwangju FC 4. So it's leaving the table looking like this. Jumbo on top, 66 points, 20-point gap over Gimchun in second. And then the final top three position is occupied by Daejeon Hana Citizen on 45 points. And just inside the top three, Potong Steelers also on 45 points, just the 3 goals behind. In terms of the bottom half of the table, Daegu FC rock bottom, but they get a much needed victory at the weekend to give them a fighting chance, but they're still 9 points cut adrift. They've got 22 points. Jeju in 11th have got 31 points, and Suwon FC is also on 31 points in 10th position, separate just to 3 goals. So, J League 1 action now. So Friday, 12th of September, we had SC Zelvia 1, Yokohama FC 1, San Frecce Oshima 1, Kyoto Sanga FC 1, Vissel Kobe 0, Kashirisol 0. Saturday, 13th September, we had Avispa Fukuoka 2, Cerezo Osaka 4, Fagiano Okayama 0, Nagoya Grampus 1, Alberts Nagata 0, Shimizu S Pulse 1, Gambo Osaka 1, Ura Diamonds 0, Cashew Antlers 3, Shona Bamari 0, Yokohama Mariners 0, Kawasaki Frontale 3, and then we had one match on Monday, the 15th September. That was the Tokyo Derby, and that was FC Tokyo 1, Tokyo Verde 0. So it's leading the table looking like this. Top of the table, Kyoto Sanga on top with 55 points. It's really tight at the top of J League. So they have 55 points. Second also has 55 points in Cashew Antlers, but they're 5 goals behind. And then third position, top 3, Kishiro Souls get 54 points. And then Vissel Kobe, just outside the top 3, and fourth position, have also got 54 points. 3 goals behind. And then 5th and 6th, we've got SC Zelvia and San Frecce Oshima, both on 51 points and both on a plus 14 goal difference. So you've got 6 sides there separate with just the 4 points. It's just a madness in terms of how close it is at the top of the table. In terms of the bottom half of the table, we've got rock bottom Alberts Nagata on 20 points. Yokohama FC, 19th position on 24 points. And then we've got Shona Bamari in the final bottom 3 position and 18th on 25 points. And then just beside the relegation playoff places, you've got Yokohama F Mariners also on 25 points, but they've got a superior goal difference of 12 goals. In terms of other Asian football news, the KFA has officially announced that South Korea will play a home friendly against Bolivia on Friday, the 14th of November. So FIFA's disciplinary committee has imposed a transfer ban for the next transfer window for Gwangju FC, and also imposed a fine of 17.5 million Korean won, which translates to £9,278.98 for violating a previous transfer ban. And that is all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.